How I Got to Be This Way, Part 1. Written October 10th, 2012. Well, here, guys, is a little rundown about me. I grew up in a small town called Rycroft, Alberta. I lived in quite a few places in Alberta, actually, mostly in the Grand Prairie area, but I spent a few months living in Edmonton. Currently, I live in Calgary. I'm a patriotic Canadian with an extreme passion for the game of hockey. I first fell in love at a young age. I think I was 6 years old when I attended a friend's birthday party that included a few games of road hockey. One of my friends said that Patrick Roy was the best goalie, so as luck would have it, when I went back home, it would just so happen that the Colorado Avalanche were playing on TV. My mom and Grandpa Jim were watching the game, and I wanted to get in the conversation, and having noticed that Patrick Roy was in net, I stated that I like Patrick Roy. My grandpa looked right at me and said, well, I like Curtis Joseph. Little side note that isn't written here. The irony about this is, as I got to know hockey a lot more, Patrick Roy, I was never a big fan. He's a great legend, and I respect what he's done for the game. I just have not been the biggest fan. And as you can see here, right there, is my Curtis Joseph jersey. I followed Cujo from the Edmonton Oilers to the Toronto Maple Leafs and to the Detroit Red Wings and to the Phoenix Coyotes. As long as Cujo was on the team, I had to cheer for him. He was the first hockey player that my heart went to. So that was the first experience I ever had watching an Edmonton Oilers game. Right then and there, I was hooked. Hooked like a junkie to a needle, like a moth to a flame. That year, I spent all my waking hours either watching or playing the game in the streets of that little town. Playing on the streets was simply not enough, so I asked my mom if I could get on the ice with my friends. It was like I had just told her I was going to become a doctor. She had this look of pride in her eyes, a look that I would have gotten from her no matter what, but the game was just as much her love. For those of you that don't know, I lost my mom to breast cancer when I was 18, and the pain is still fresh. She was everything to me, and I was proud to be a mama's boy. If she was your mom, you would have been proud too. My dad was gone a lot because he was always working, so I just simply got to know my mom more than my dad. Having a mom that loved hockey was pretty much the coolest thing ever. She was a born and bred Edmonton Oilers fan. She has told me so many amazing stories about watching them in the 80s. She got to witness with her own eyes the Oilers raising the cup 4 times in 5 years. She remembers the heartbreak of Steve Smith putting the puck in his own net against the Calgary Flames, ultimately leading to their playoff elimination, and that was on her 17th birthday. She remembers the day Wayne Gretzky was traded and how everyone wrote the Oilers off. That's why she said their 1990 Stanley Cup was their best one. Mark Messier put the team on his back and brought them to victory without the great one on the club. She likes to make a joke that I'm cursed, because I was in her tummy when they won the Stanley Cup in 1990. 3 months later, I was born, and the Oilers haven't had one since. To be continued.